Hey, it's Lee for On Your Marks Wrestling, and I'm here with a late Impact review for June 14th, 2018. The show starts with Grado, who comes out with Katarina Lee. He's attacked right away by Eddie Edwards with a kendo stick. Eddie Edwards calls out Dreamer for preventing him from killing Sami Callihan. I almost said Zayn. He acts crazy until it's too much, and Dreamer basically pushes him down. Eddie Edwards cracks... excuse me, I wrote Callahan. That's definitely not who it is. He cracks Dreamer over the head with the kendo stick. Edwards was being so obnoxious and stupid and crazy, but he's doing a good job of it. Like, people are that way. I used to be a bouncer, I remember. Dreamer backstage takes off after telling D'Amore to fix this. He basically more or less quits dealing with Impact. Then we have Rebel, who apparently has been at Impact before. I'm not familiar with her. Versus Taya Valkyrie. Rebel was apparently circus folk before she became a wrestler. That's kind of interesting. I was surprised at how evenly matched this was. They didn't just give a squash to Valkyrie. At one point, Rebel hits a running knee, and then she does a kind of splits leg drop thing. It looked cool. She gets a near fall out of it. Eventually, though, Taya hits a spear, and then she hits the Road to Valhalla. And after the match, because she gets the win that way, she calls out Madison Rayne. Mackenzie Mitchell is backstage with Matt Sydal, who says he senses weakness in Cage, gave him an opportunity to get out of this match, and just kind of moves on from there. OVE promo with really bad eye makeup on Sami Callihan, but he talks up Jake Chris, which is kind of interesting, because Chris has a match that night. Cult of Lee versus KM and Fallah Bah. The crowd loves Bah. It's kind of cool to see. There's a quadruple steamroller with KM and Bah together. At one point, Bah's eyes get raked, and KM goes to check on him, and he accidentally Samoan drops KM. Trevor Lee manages to pin KM. KM yells at, doesn't just yell at, he also shoves Bah down. So it might be the end of this partnership, which had been producing some pretty decent comedy spots. Then we're backstage with LAX. Diamante is still reluctant to celebrate King's successes. At the end of the little video thing, LAX and Diamante leave, and King kind of settles into Conan's chair, and they're planting the seed that he's the one who got rid of Conan. Then we have a match. It's Moose versus Eli Drake. Now it's an edited match from House of Hardcore, so this is a number one contenders match. You'd expect them to have it on the show. It's kind of strange. There's a power slam by Drake at one point, which is impressive because he kind of throws Moose up. There's a go to hell by Moose, which is basically like a choke slammy type kind of move. There's a neck breaker from the torture rack position by Drake, which looked really cool. But Moose wins with the spear eventually and becomes the number one contender. Then we have Kiera Hogan versus Tessa Blanchard. And I have to apologize. At this point, my recording became kind of crappy. Really choppy. I could only see some of the moves. I got to see half of this match, but beyond this, the review will be very much a review rather than a retelling of what happened, a recounting of what happened. So Hogan attacks Blanchard early on the outside. Blanchard manages to hit a flapjack onto the ramp to kind of equalize things. Tessa Blanchard hits a hammerlock DDT, but only gets a near fall, which is very surprising. I thought that was her finisher. The ref tells Blanchard to obey his commands at one point, separating her from Hogan, which is terrible refereeing because this is a no DQ match. It shouldn't matter. Blanchard basically tells him, "You can't DQ me," shoves him down on the ground. Callis at this point is losing his mind over this ref correctly, ripping the ref for not knowing this is no DQ or for interfering too much, putting his hands on a woman too. Just really good kind of heel commentator stuff. There's a bulldog onto a chair that's on the ground by Hogan. Then Hogan tries to do a kind of fisherman thing where she's going to drop Tessa Blanchard onto a chair that's standing. But Blanchard manages to reverse it and hits Hogan onto the chair and gets the win that way. There's a little quick recap of the X attacks. I don't know what they're calling them. Then we have a match between Phantasma and Jake Christ. I can't even tell what's happening during this match. My screen was so messed up. I did see that Dave Christ interfered at one point. Phantasma does manage to get the win eventually, but he's attacked by OVE's members. Pentagon Jr. runs in and he gets a save, so it looks like he's going to probably feud with Sami Callihan, which is fine. Maybe separate Eddie Edwards for a little bit. And then we get the match between Matt Sydal and Brian Cage for the X Division Championship. It looks like a fairly typical match from what I could tell. If I fast forwarded, I could see a little bit more. So it looks pretty typical. Some big moves, like power moves landed by Cage, a couple of shows of agility from him, lots of shows of agility and speed from Sydal. At one point, Congo Kong comes down to the ring. I believe he shoves Cage into the stairs. I can't tell exactly what happens, but he knocks Cage down, and it causes Cage to get counted. Excuse me. Counted out, and Sydal retains his championship. Backstage, we see Petey Williams, and he's pulling an X card off of a fallen Falaba. And Sanjay Dutt sees this and kind of blames Petey Williams for this, for the attacks. And there's a security guard / cop who grabs Williams and cuffs him and starts dragging him away. Once he's dragged him far enough away from the crowd, the cop kind of starts attacking Williams, starts choking him with a nightstick, takes off his shirt, and you see some symbols, some tattoos on him that resemble the symbols that we were seeing during the kind of X intro stuff. So we see that he's a big guy. I have no clue who this guy is. Maybe it's just my eyes are tricking me, but I just can't tell who it is. But yeah, big guy, cool attack. It all worked. I think it would have worked better if it was a name, like someone I recognized. For me, at least, it would have worked better. But still looked like an impressive guy, so it works out fine. I thought that was good. Overall, Impact, not the greatest episode, but far from bad either. Some decent in-ring stuff. The reveal of the X guy is cool. Callis on commentary made certain things a lot better. I'm going to go ahead and give this probably a 7.5 out of 10. It's imperfect, but it's pretty darn good. So yeah, haven't been giving too many high scores this week. That's fine. Going into NXT TakeOver on Saturday. We're past TakeOver, I can tell you that, but I knew that TakeOver would be good, and Money in the Bank also potentially good. So that was my review of NXT. I will be back with the reviews of the pay-per-views from the weekend. Thanks for watching.